Hi, so you're interested in joining a driving school franchise. Right, okay. Before you do, before you pick up the telephone to give whoever a call, the right thing that you can do is to actually look at yourself. What do you need? What I mean by that is this. There are a number of driving school franchises out there. So you've got your small local ones, maybe they're quite well established, two or three driving instructors maybe, perhaps you're going to be there first. And of course at the other end of the spectrum, you've got the big driving schools, haven't you? Like Red, BSM, AA, Bill Plant and the rest of them. So there's quite a difference between one type of driving school and another, and what most driving instructors will do, or even PDIs, or people wanting to become driving instructors, they'll pick the phone up and start talking about training or start talking about the franchise. And it really isn't the right approach. So what a lot of driving instructors do is they tend to go online and go on Facebook and ask about franchises, which is a good franchise, which is a bad franchise. And we'll pick on driving school franchise X. You will get a lot of people saying, oh, it's a great franchise, it did really good for me. And on the other hand, you'll get, oh, it's a really bad franchise, it wasn't very good for me at all. It still leaves you in limbo. What you need to do is you need to look at yourself. And that's you should be doing that before you pick the phone up or write an email to any driving school. And you need to look at yourself in a way where you're asking, what do I need to complete my business? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a look at the skills that you have got and the skills that you need to complete a full driving school. Okay, so what does a full driving school look like? Well, I've come up with something called the 4 pillars of a driving school. Okay, so the first pillar is marketing. The second pillar is sales, and then the skills of the ADI, and finally pupil management. Maybe you can add to that if you wanted to. That's fine. But those 4 pillars, when done rightly, will give you a pretty decent driving school business. So look at them. We're going to do that right now. Look at them and ask yourself, what have I got? What haven't I got? Okay. So the first thing is, let's look at marketing, shall we? How can I market my business? What type of marketing do I need to do? And actually, marketing is really, really in depth, from positioning price to creating the perception of how you want people to feel about your business, the look and feel of your business. And also there are different types of marketing, marketing streams, marketing avenues. So let's just look at the different types of marketing. My question to you is right now, do you have the ability to market your business so you can create inquiries? The second question is, do you have the ability to market your business so you can create the right type of inquiries? And what I mean by right type of inquiries is, if you're running an L-test business, then ideally you want learners who are going to pay the upper end of the market rates, not the lower end of the market rates, and not people that are not really committed to it. You want a committed person who's ready to pay. Have you got the ability to do that? If you haven't got the ability to do it, can you skill up? Can you get those skills? That's really, really important. And once you've asked those questions, the next question is, do you have the time to do it? Because you're out in your car, or you should be out in your car delivering your lessons, and when you're out in the car and delivering your lessons, you don't have time to do marketing. Okay, so that's the first thing. A look at that. And then we move on to sales. Okay, what is sales? Well, sales is when somebody, a potential customer, communicates with you because they have interest in buying a product or service from you. In this instance, driving lessons. So do you have the ability to pick up the phone when the phone rings? Do you have the ability to respond pretty quickly to messages sent through to you, either text messages or maybe messages on social media? So these are the things that you need to be asking yourself. Do you have the ability to respond to those now? Because if you don't, what tends to happen is they will call somebody else, even if you are a recommendation. Why? Because they'll get 2 or 3 recommendations. So can you answer the phone now? And if you can answer that phone now, fantastic, but do you have the skills to convert? What do I mean by that? Well, they're interested, they're interested in learning to drive. And they're going to ask you a few questions, such as, how much do you charge? Do you have the ability to overcome price objections? Do you have the ability to listen to them? Do you have the ability to provide information to them, all in a way where at the end of the call they go, I'd like to book with you, when can I start? Okay, so that's the second pillar of sales. The third pillar is skills of the ADI. And when I wrote this, it's about how good are you at your job? Okay, now, when was the last time you checked? It doesn't have to be a standards check, does it? You might want to have a trainer, somebody you recognise, somebody you trust, somebody who's got some really good qualifications or, been on good training courses themselves, where they can look at your business, where they can look at the way that you deliver a driving lesson every so often. So how good are your skills? Because it's your skills that will retain people, or help retain people from one week to the next. And they'll also help you create recommendations. Why? Because you're good, okay? The fourth part of this is pupil management, sometimes called as diary management. And it's about making sure that those people are in week after week after week after week, that they pay on time, there's no cancellations, so it's not them phoning up and saying, oh, the weather doesn't look too good today, I don't fancy it. It's you are managing them, you're managing their expectations, you managing the time frame for them to pass their driving test within their expectations, of course. So sit down, just grab a pen, piece of paper, and sit down give yourself half an hour, give yourself an hour, if you can, because this is really important for you, because getting the wrong driving school could be a very costly mistake. If you want to join a franchise, getting the right franchise can be absolutely brilliant for you. So please get a pen and just write this down. So what you're doing is you're looking at your strengths in all 4 of those areas, and you're looking at the bits where you're missing at, okay? The bits where somebody else needs to fill in, or where you're prepared to skill up. And what you're left with are 3 areas. Things that I'm good at, things that I'm not good at and I need to improve on and I'm happy to do myself, and areas where I need to outsource, okay? It's the outsourced bit is the key part here for you to working out what's going to be the best driving school franchise for you. Okay, so you've got this list of things that you need to outsource. So let's try and pick one from each element. So marketing. You might think that you don't have the ability to market and it's really not your cup of tea, okay? And you want somebody else to do it for you. Okay, lovely. You might think that you don't have the opportunity of answering the phone and booking them into your diary, okay? The third thing is you might not be sure whether your skills, whether you're on top of the ball. So, that's the skills of the ADI. And the pupil management bit, you might have some experience where you're getting a few cancellations here and there. So they could be your areas. So then you look at the franchise, even before you pick the phone up, and you go, right, okay, is this franchise promising me pupils? Promising you pupils. Okay, that's the thing, right? Promising you pupils, because lots of franchises will not promise you pupils. And they go down the line of, you're joining this big team, working together, the phone will ring, but we can't promise you X amount, or we can't promise you any. That's what lots of franchises do. Some franchises will promise you pupils. If you need somebody to do your marketing for you, and you're unable to do it yourself, then you need to make sure that you join a driving school that can make that promise to you, okay? No cop-outs, they must make that promise to you. Secondly, sales. How is that franchise answering the phone? If you're not going to be answering it, they're going to answer it, right? So, is it them in their car and they answer the phone in between lessons? Is it them in their car and they answer the phone at the end of the night? Is it their partner at home that answers it? Is it a driving school franchise with a call centre that answers it? And whoever answers it, do they actually have the skills to convert? And they're the questions that you need to ask. And that's the top and bottom of it. So if you're going to look at a big national driving school and you know that they've got call centres, ring them up. Ask, pretend to be a customer. Test them. Were they any good? Would you have bought from them? If it's a local franchise, ask them, who answers your phone? When do you answer it? And they might say to you, it's me who answers the phone and I answer it in between driving lessons. If you're happy with that, that's fine, as long as you know. Okay, that's the most important thing, as long as you know. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do it, because it's a personal choice to you. The third part, of course, was, are you on the top of your game in terms of skills of the ADI? So what does the franchise offer? What sort of CPD training is it? What is that CPD training? When is that CPD training? Is there an additional cost to it? How effective is it? Will they be prepared to do a one-to-one with you so they can personally look at you and make a critical analysis of what you're good at and where you need to improve? They're the questions that I think that you ought to be asking any driving school franchise. And another question is, do you need to join a driving school franchise like that? I mean, there are people out there such as Graham Hooper, Try Coaching, Smart Driving, and they've both got networks. There are other organisations. And what you can do is why can't you speak to somebody like that? Why can't you do that once every 3 months? Do you need a franchise to do that? And then, of course, we mentioned pupil management and cancellations. Okay, so it could be something else, but we're working on cancellations right now. Could you get a third party to look at your business so you can understand why you're getting cancellations and how to overcome them? So when it comes to joining a driving school franchise, in summary, look at the 4 pillars of a driving school franchise. Okay? To review that: marketing, sales, skills of the ADI, pupil management. Go through that process, get a pen, write it down, concentrate on the areas that you need to focus on, and then look for a franchise that can meet those, because there's no point joining a franchise if they can't. Okay? And you might come to the situation where you think, actually, I don't need a franchise, but I do need some extra help. So for example, you want to make sure that you're on top of your game, so therefore you hook up with a trainer and you have a 2-hour session every 2 to 3 months or something like that, just to make sure that you're on top of your game. That could be the net result of going through this exercise. We don't know. But go through the exercise and you will be better off for it. If you've got any comments, and you're on YouTube right now, leave them at the bottom. Thank you.